This your bright idea, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man,
Alonzo called me up. Hey, we need to do a hurricane party with former players. Now, y'all gotta tell us a great Ed Reed story that nobody knows. One of those epic battles with him.
Let y'all tell. I got a lot of Ed Reed stories, but you gotta pay me for that shit.
People didn't understand that relationship. It was just me telling dudes, hey, look, man, this opportunity you got, take advantage of this shit, get your education.
Damian Lewis, Nate Webster, and all those guys, man, and they was as crazy as I was. So I figured, I could come down here and act a fool with these clowns. When we first got down there, we almost got in a fight. That was up my alley.
The question was early, what was the best team? Ooh. 2001,
2000 Kane, Reggie, Santana,
yeah, 2000.
Dan Morgan, 2000.
Tell him again, Big Mac. Tell him again, Portis.
2000.
Hold on, man. I gotta fill my cup up. Wait a minute.
2001.
Listen, 2000, man. 2000 had that work on it.
Y'all a little bit too young to know about that 86 team, though.
Hey.
Y'all young boy.
Hey, we
made a 16 and there was some dogs. Trust me, there was some dogs. I know that.
Hey, CP.
Hey, but that 2000, I'm telling y'all.
Yeah,
CP,
2000.
there's a story about you, how you used to antagonize Willis. I used to sit over there and wait till Willis get out the game. Hey, dog, how many yards you had? Hey. Man, that ain't nothing. I'm finna go ahead and get 8.
James Jackson did it to me. Listen, James Jackson did it to me. Coach Saul allowed James to do it to me. James Jackson, first game of my career, Ohio State, Meadowlands. James Jackson come to me and say, hey, CP, I bet you $100 I break a 50-yard run within the first
carry.
I said, no way in hell. Second carry, boom, 59 yards.
Listen to the party. I gotta go to the party.
He said, you ain't never had no big run like that. Yours was all 10 to 15 yards, but they added
Hey, Coach Soldinger. Hey, listen, here's one for you. So every once in a while, we'd always see Warren Williams starting over Mel Bratton. And I'd see Mel would get 100 yards against Florida. Then the next week, Warren Williams is starting. I look over at High and I start doing, what's going on, man? He goes, he gives me that shit. He gives me that crap. This guy right here, that's why you ain't starting. Come on, Don.
We got a quarantine party. Quarantine party.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
DJ out of control.
What was that like in that room with all of those great backs?
Huh?
What was it like in that room with all of those great backs? You had Edgerrin James, Clint Portis.
I loved it.
Hey, he was a better coach.
Hey, he never said anything, and the rest of those guys, none of them said anything. I try to teach them as much football as I can. They went out and balled, man.
Hey, you know what? You know what the old running backs coach told me about Bo Jackson? He said Bo Jackson's freshman year, he said, I was over there coaching and Pat Dye was running towards me. He said, boy, if you try to coach him, I'll make sure you never coach again in college football. You leave him alone. Go coach someone else.
So my first game, I was coaching inside linebackers, the kickoff classic. Bo Jackson, Tommy A.G., and Brent Fullwood were the backs in the wishbone. That was his first game. We beat him 20-18 in that kickoff classic game.
Hey, Bo ain't never outrushed me in his career.
Hey, Alonzo, Luke, look here, quick story. This how I knew Coach Saul was OG. In bad practice, Coach Davis blow the whistle. Tell everybody to get the F off the field. So the offense try to go to the other field and keep practicing. He blow the whistle again. Get the F off the field. All the players start jogging off. He blow the whistle a third time. Say the coaches too, run. Don't walk off the field. All the coaches take off running. Coach Saul walking. I'm walking, talking to Coach Saul. Coach Saul walking, turn around. Hey, bro, I'm effing grown. My wife is rich. I don't need this shit. Turned back around and kept walking. Coach Davis looked like this man crazy. I looked like, oh man, Coach Soldinger, the realest coach ever.
Hey, Coach Soldinger was like that. But he told me one time, when are you going to break a run for like 40 yards or something? He was coaching tight ends. He said, man, you ever going to break a long run? And we were playing Purdue. And I went like 47 yards down the sideline. He looked at me and was
okay. Hey, Edge. EJ.
What up?
So let me tell you how Lamar used to do me, man. You know how the receiver got to get the most dangerous man between the safety and the corner. So the strong safety be creeping down in the box. We getting ready to run the ball. Lamar know he's supposed to go in there and dig him out, right? He don't dig him out, right? I hit him in the hole. I try to get 2 or 3 more yards after that. We get back in the huddle. I'm like, Lamar, why you ain't going there and dig him out? Lamar tell me, bro, I'm trying to get it 3rd and long. Now imagine if you had to deal with that every day in the game, bro.
Hey, don't worry about it. All you gotta do is, hey, when you got that 9 route, don't block.
Hey, no, here go the best Lamar story. Here go the best Lamar story. So UM is playing against Alabama. UM is Alabama and New Orleans.
Luther Campbell.
So Lamar comes to me on the sideline like I'm a coach. I ain't a damn coach. This motherfucker Gino ain't throwing me the fucking ball. And then you got who was the receiver? Who was the DB? The DB for Alabama. I forget what his name.
George T.
George T. Yeah, talking
Dang,
shit.
Hurlie.
Sideline.
Dang, Hurlie.
Fuck y'all. Lamar. Yo, you ain't fucking man. Luke, go talk. So I go over to Gino. Gino's sitting on the bench. I said, Gino, right? I'm looking around, you know, seeing where the coach is at. Gino, you need to throw the ball to this motherfucker. Stuff happening. Gino goes out there, throw the ball to Lamar. Blue! And the rest was history. Lamar had to tell the rest of the story. Unbelievable.
The best story about Lamar, we get done with football. We're in the spring. Lamar them start running track. They ain't been out there practicing for a week. So they go to the Big East Championship. Lamar doing the high jump. Lamar and Horace Copeland doing the high jump. You got dudes, that's all they do on the other squad. All they do is do track. They on track scholarship the whole 9 yards. Man, Lamar them went up there to the Big East Championship track meet and talked them dudes out of jumping, and they went first and second. They scared the hell out of them. Just talked them out of the whole track meet. And won first and second in the high jump. Lamar jumping like he jumping scissors on the high jump. He high jumped in 4 years and go win the Big East.
Hey, Hurlie, he got to be the first person to take his helmet off in the end zone. He say,
Melvin,
I'm gonna take my motherfucking helmet off. Fuck that. I'm gonna take my Lamar. That's gonna be a penalty. Fuck that. I'm gonna take this man changed more rules in the NCAA than anybody on this.
I got that from Melvin, man. I got that from Melvin. I just want, hey, look, I came from Gainesville, man. I just wanted to be known, dog. I just wanted people to know me, bro. That's it. And I know if I took my helmet off, I could walk into Strawberries and be the man.
Alonzo, you've got to tell the story. A lot of people, even with the 30 for 30, they talk about everything else but how hard we actually work. Yeah. So the story is, and I want you to tell it, the day that you was working out, it was pro day, you was working out, you had about a 2-3 hour workout. You went out there and worked out, and then after the workout, you went to the locker room.
What happened was, that was back in the 86, 87. You had fax machines back then. You ain't no emails or, so 13 teams, there were 27 teams at the time. So 13 teams got my pro day at 9 a.m. when I was supposed to work out. Well, 13 teams show up, I work out because I didn't work out at the combine. So I'm done for the day. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm sitting there. My girlfriend, who's my wife now, she brings me something to eat. I'm eating a Burger King. 14 teams show up at 1 o'clock. They said, we thought your pro day was at 1 o'clock. I said, well, shit, let's go. I got nothing else to do. Let's go. But that's not what mentality. You didn't know no better. So I did a second pro day. I ran again. My second day was better than my second pro day was better than the first pro day. But that was the mentality. You were broke. You didn't have any money. Didn't matter to you. There were no Instagrams. You didn't have everything you have today. So you said, you know what? You 14 teams are showing up here to see me work out again. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again. Let's go.
And what pick were you in that draft?
Third.
Third pick of the draft.
Third. Yeah.
A 6-hour workout.
They didn't tell me about that AstroTurf and the Astrodome.
Concrete.
I didn't know you're supposed to be jumping in the air and landing on one leg and stuff like that.
Hey, Luke, before y'all get any further, Luke, I gotta say this, and because I hope a lot of people are actually watching. I'm sure they are. But I just want to thank Coach Don Soldinger for saving my life and giving me a chance to be a part of this. Coach, I love you. Hey, without you, I don't know where I would be today. I really don't.
You're the best, bro.
You saved me too, Coach. I would have been up in North Florida somewhere.
Hey, hometown, appreciate you bringing Coach Soldinger through the Ville.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
They said I couldn't recruit.
Don, what it was really about, when Jimmy found me, I remember him looking me in the face. He goes, "You got in trouble at Maryland because I threw a dude out a window."
Y'all about the same height.
Yeah, and he goes like this, "You got one fucking shot, man." He put me in the auxiliary locker room with the freshmen next to the shitter. It was overflowing. And he said, "Hey, man, you're going to have to earn your stripes at this bitch because I don't need you. But I'm going to give you an opportunity." And I took that opportunity like every guy in our locker room did. And everyone has their own story. My story is no different than anybody else's story. Because we all come from some place that got us to that locker room and inside that fraternity that, in my opinion, is one of the most special fraternities in the entire country. I don't give a fuck about Alabama, Auburn, LSU, or any of them other places. Ohio State, fuck that. Look at what the Hall of Fame is going to do the next 5 years. We're going to land a dude in Canton for the next 5 years. Reggie, you're next. This is crazy, man. I mean, it's incredible to be a part of something like this.
Yeah. And you know what? And here, on your side of it, I want to say this. Being in this league for the 23 years and have played at Miami and things, the way these younger players treat the older players has been phenomenal. And I've had nothing but praise and respect for Portis and Reggie Wayne and Edgerrin James. They could say, man, fuck those guys. I don't know.
Man, Edgerrin said that, Alonzo.
Young men.
No, man, you guys have carried it on, man. Clinton, I remember getting you on my show in Miami, and you referenced every single one of us, and you're talking about Reggie and William and all the guys that played on those 2000 teams. I mean, you guys knew Jonathan Vilma. All you guys know the history, and it was. I'll tell you what, that may be the greatest honor. Is that how you guys went on, constantly talking about us and keeping our memory alive with that, knowing that the cement was poured there, but you guys built the house. It's really crazy.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Reggie or EJ didn't lend a hand to me when I needed them.
Hey, I got to tell this story, Luke. So I'm coaching at Miami. All right. I'm coaching at Miami. I'm recruiting. We're up there for the state championship game. Booker T. Washington is playing. All right. And so we're at a stage in Miami that we're not having a whole lot of success. So I go down, walk into the stadium. We get there probably a little bit after the first quarter started. So everybody's seated in the stadium. Everybody's already there. They're watching the game. I show up my orange and green shirt on. I'm walking through the crowd. Everybody start back to there, and I'm on the Booker T side. Everybody stop, and they start to look. So rumblings get to going on. You know how it is, Luke. They weren't Miami fans at that time. So they looking at me, and all of a sudden, I hear Edgerrin say, hey, that's Hurlie. He's straight. Everybody let me come on through. I said, damn. But that's what it's all about, man. Them dudes, hey, the respect and love that they have for the older guys is phenomenal. There you go.
Now,
real OG.
That's one thing about it, though. Like, to be honest with you, like, I know when we were there, it was like we didn't want to let the older guys down because we know y'all guys had them built their foundation for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, we didn't want to let those guys down. Like, we took pride in when we were working out, and I'm a receiver, so I'll see, you know, Lamar come back or Michael Irvin come back. Like, shit, that was love. So whenever we see them, especially on the sideline of the game, like, shit, we got to turn up. We got to show out. Like, we can't go out here ass stepping. And I remember when we played, we played Florida State in 2000, and we ended up scoring at the end of the game. Michael Irvin met me out on the damn hash mark. He had all white fucking linen, all white linen on. You can see his drawers and everything out there. Over 100 degrees out there, right? And he hugged me on the hash mark. I'm like, Mike, you're going to get us in trouble. He like, I don't care, goddammit. We won this game. But to me, like, that meant everything because he was one of those older dudes that built their foundation. And the only thing we wanted to do is keep that legacy going. So we took pride into that, and we appreciate y'all for that.
Hey, Reggie, I bet you don't remember going to Black Gold after that game.
That was like an office. Peters at the office, baby.
Black gold. Black gold.
Brett Romberg in here.
We got Romberg. We got the Cuban, Joaquin Gonzalez. What's up, Joaquin?
Brent, you got to tell us one of them stories, Brent. You got to tell us one of them stories. Everybody done told stories. You just got in here. We need to hear a great UM story from you, brother.
Well, I would piggyback Reggie's story right there on that 2000 game because that was after the nuts dropping that we did in Washington when we got our shit kicked in basically for about 3 quarters when we went up to Washington in the corner of the map, and that was our young crew, man. We were young. A lot of us were first-time starters. I know I was. Ken Dorsey, for that matter.
It was only my second game.
Yeah, man. That was our first go, and we ended up meeting a very feisty, loud, and still to this day, I think that was probably the loudest stadium that we ever played in, whether it was college or pro. Like Seattle Seahawks, man, nasty afternoon. Yeah, that's some loud. I don't know what kind of fucking engineer they got over there, but that joker needs to get a raise, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I think that Washington was the nut dropper, and after that day, I think it was just no turning back. Whether it was Swayze, whether it was getting your mind right on Thursdays up in the big team meeting room, it was a mental game. It was not only the physical sitting in the ice tub shit that we went through, but I think a lot of it was the mentality that we had. And me and Vilma talk about it quite a bit. I go back. I have like a mixed kind of history with Miami. So I get taken underneath the wing of Richard Mercier, who got fucked up by guys like Casey Jones, who got fucked up by guys like Mario Cristobal. So that twisted mentality of an offensive lineman, it just bred borderline retardation, to be honest with you. Like the stuff that we were doing and getting away with as fat boys, the chicks that we were dating should not have happened. Like stuff like this should not have went down, you know? And I feel after that Washington game, and as we went through in that freaking Florida State game, that happened basically on my birthday. I spent the night in the hospital. I dehydrated. I lost after they pumped me with 4 or 5 IVs after that game, I still lost 14 pounds from pregame. I was still 14 pounds light. So you got the Shockey situation in the end zone. I didn't know where the fuck I was at. I was so damn tired. But that right there was exactly what Reggie was talking about that baton being handed off. And I don't think so much like I know it's been touched on about the young kids respecting the older guys and you know, basically giving credit where credit is due, kind of the same homage that we used to give to that previous class, the 95 to 2000 class, and then the 95 to 90 class. Like, everybody basically goes in there like it's the goddamn mafia, and you have to pay your fucking respects. That's how you earn your stripes. That's how you earn your helmet. That's how you earn that sticker on your helmet. And I feel like that today, fuck, man, it's unfortunate. I feel like that is kind of lost. Like, I really do. I don't think they're so concerned with what we did or what we do.
You know why, Brett?
In Miami today. You know what I mean? I think it's more of we saw what happened in the past. We're a different crew, and this is our stepping stone to do something bigger, better, and greater. And that whole team camaraderie. I don't know if anybody's been over there talking to some of these cats, but they don't have no fucking team camaraderie. Do you know that kid Tate Martell never showed up for a month and a half at the fucking facility? Can you fucking believe that? A goddamn quarterback kid who's out there talking about how great he is, still to this day on social media talking about he's fighting for that starting job. Bitch, you fucking left us for a month and a half. Do you realize that you wouldn't even be allowed back on campus? If one of us was walking the fuck, can you believe if we were walking on campus or we were at the tree? You want to talk about being at the tree and all of a sudden somebody shows up, ain't been around for a month? Brother, you're fucking rolling. You're out. You ain't gonna make it in the locker room. You ain't gonna make it in the couches. You ain't going anywhere, dude. It's over.
I see the veins on the side of the neck. Okay.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. I feel like it's I feel like whatever.
Brett, there's no link to the past, man. They did away with it.
No.
The big
got the turnover chain though.
Brett,
they got the
hopefully Reggie will bring it back, you know.
There's no commitment. Like, listen, when we walked in that, like Reggie and all these guys were saying, man, when you walked in that fucking locker room, man, your job was on the line every day. Your job was on the line every day when you walked in there. And when you got your after like the fall camp and you were ready to roll, that's when you felt comfortable about going out and playing. I watch these kids today play, and I do this. Dude, 6 and 7? I mean, it took 25 years to lose 7 games. What the fuck is this?
Hey, we got the great coach Randy Shannon.
Uh-oh.
You got to unmute. You on mute. You got to unmute.
Get off mute. Get off mute, Onion.
Talk right now. Listen to everybody right now.
Coach Shannon.
Joaquin look like he got a fucking 2 kilos behind him.
Yes, baby. Gotta pay the bills somehow.
Joaquin like he back in the 1980s, like he on Miami Vice somewhere.
Hey man, fuck Romberg. Romberg snapped the ball early in that 2000 game. That motherfucker won't.
Fuck out of here! You jumped.
Right now, fuck you, Romberg.
You fucking jumped.
Listen, Joaquin, Brett, y'all remember this? We in the big team meeting room. Coach Davis playing the film back. He stand up and say, "Shocking, the fuck do I need to do to keep you on side?"
Doug said, "Fuck, go on one."
Say, go on one.
I remember that.
That's a good story.
Go on one.
Hey, we got hit one of them great Coach Randy Shannon stories. I mean,
I tell you what, fellas, what's amazing about it, looking at everybody, is like looking at Coach Soldinger. When I was in high school, we played South Ridge. He ran the damn score up on us, didn't give a shit. Threw the ball with like 2 seconds left on the clock.
The 2 best linebackers in town.
playing against Alonzo at Columbus. Watching Hurlie coming in as a freshman, going through things, recruited William Joseph. Fucking watching Sileo come in, transferred to 3 different schools, coming in and playing the games. It's unbelievable, man. And you know what's amazing about it when you talk about being family. Just looking at LT. LT was out of playing NFL, and LT was a high school coaching, and he wanted to get into coaching. That's LT. I was the coach at Miami. He said, "Why don't you come on back, man? Let me help you pay for your degree, get started and stuff, if you want to get into coaching." And LT came back, went to school, got his degree, and from that point on, me and LT was tighter than tight. even when we was in college, we was tighter than tight. But it's just a fact of we all looked after each other every time. And that's the one thing that's amazing about it. And just seeing you guys going to recruit Jamaal Green, sitting in his house, and boy, y'all think we had it tough, Luke? Staying in Lincoln Field? Jamaal Green house? Whoa. Oh.
Hey,
but, you know,
hey,
just
Coach.
listen to everybody, man. It's like unbelievable, man. And just, you know, one thing about it, no matter where you're at 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when you see a hurricane, you have stories to tell, man. And we all family. And I just want each and every one of you guys appreciate you. Now, it's one guy I got to get on. One guy. That fucking Clinton Portis. So we had practice one day. And we had a scrimmage, right? Clinton said, "Oh, I'm gonna run this thing on y'all, coach. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do it." So, you know, a true hurricane gonna be like, okay, it's on now, right? It's on. So anytime Clinton was in the game, our 8-man blitzed his ass and made him block. Yeah, made his ass fucking block. And when he carried the ball, there was like 8 guys on him. After the scrimmage, he's gonna walk up to me and say, "Coach, why you gotta do me like that?" What you mean? You're the one talk shit. I did.
Yeah.
And Highsmith, you know how it was. I mean, I watched Highsmith one day in practice. We was dominating. Sileo, you remember this. We was dominating practice. And Highsmith got pissed off and told Jimmy and Gary Stevens, Coach Solid, you remember this one? I want the ball. Give me the ball. Was about to fight everybody. Highsmith went 8 straight times, and nobody wanted to tackle him because he was pissed off, and it was like 8 to 10 yards a pop. But he made a statement that you guys weren't gonna just dominate us. And but you know, that's just fun and everything else, fellas. And I appreciate all you guys. And like we said, we're always gonna be Canes for life. And I just want to get on and say hi, but I got to go back to recruit now. I got to go back to work.
Hey,
but
man,
I appreciate all you guys,
go,
man, and love you, man.
Before you go, we're going to tell the story about you. Because we knew Randy was special.
Yeah.
All right, so in 1987, my freshman year at the University of Miami, I'm walking through the hall. I peek into Coach Campo's office. Randy's sitting there watching film. Hurlie, come here. He's sitting there by himself. Ain't nobody else in the building watching film. Randy was the only one watching film. Randy sat there and he pulled up the tape and he was looking at cover 2. He said, Hurlie, we had to have completed the seam ball for a touchdown on us. He said, whose fault is this? And I'm sitting there looking at him like, it's the safety fault. He kept rewinding it back. He said, keep looking at it. And he made me sit there and watch film for the next 35 to 45 minutes. And he taught me how to play cover 2. And I'm sitting there, and we're talking back in 1987. Yeah. And he's been coaching and doing the same thing ever since. So,
yeah, I saw him take the VHS and bring it to our room. If he could get Winston and Jerome to watch film, I know.
I remember that practice, man, because our defense used to just fucking kill that offense, man. And finally, Highsmith threw the ball down. He said, "Give me that motherfucker, man." 8 straight. Hey, Jerome gets back to the huddle. He goes, "This motherfucker's crazy, man." We're sitting there. Randy's in the huddle with us, and we're just sitting in there. Jerome goes, "This motherfucker's gonna get look." And so we said, "Let's lay it on him. Let's keep going." Winston's in there going, "Fuck him. Let's hit him." And so it was so awesome to watch you do that. But that was the mentality in them inside drills, man. If your team was getting beat up, hey, man, no one had pity for you. Those are some of the most intense moments in my entire life of being in those inside drills.
Hey, Randy, so we just saw the University of Miami game where you had William Joseph, who's on here. You were rotating Wilfork, and you left Black in the game. Was that because he was Haitian?
No, we know what, what's amazing. You know what's amazing about that team? You know, when I got there, Edward was on that team, and one guy named Matt Walters was always the key factor. Matt was always the key factor. He was a smart guy, played with leverage, used good hands, always the key factor. Matt was the only guy that would piss William off, but also piss Vince off.
Oh.
Because no matter what in the game, they would always ask Matt, where do I line up at? So it's like anything, you better use your tools to get where you at. But in the long run, Matt was a good player that helped William out and Vince out to get to where they at. But also, when we played Boston College, he was the one guy that turned and chased the football, got a pick, drove crazy as Ed when he snatched the ball and went the distance on. So everybody played a part in it, no matter who you are, what you did, no matter what round you went in. I guarantee you, each and every one of us, it may be a block that Big Mac had, maybe something Donnell did, maybe something that Romberg did, maybe something Joaquin did. Everybody made a play some point in time in a game to get it done. And that's a part of it.
Before we let you go, tell us your favorite Ed Reed story.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one. Remember that game? Remember that game we played Florida State at Florida State, and we rocked their world.
Randy,
we
was
kicking their butt.
Hey, Randy, talk about Reed don't want to stay deep middle.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So we playing Florida State. Highsmith, you'll love this. We playing Florida State, so I'm going. I said, now Ed, they're gonna go with a shake route. They're gonna run a dig and go. I got you, coach. I got you, coach. Here it come, a dig and go. Ed jumped the dig and boom, touchdown. That's when we beat him like 22-6, some score. Touchdown, right? So Ed gonna come to me on the sideline and be like, picked up the phone. He said, yeah, you got me. I understand it, but you know what? Don't yell at me. We good. I got you. I owe you one. All right, talk to you later. Boom, bye, boom. And left off the phone. I couldn't say nothing. That next series, he did catch one and went the distance to the house. So he made up for it. But Ed didn't want to hear all that. He gonna accept what it was, but he gonna play the game.
Hey, Randy, I got one question for you, man.
Yes.
After that West Virginia game, Jermaine Mack blocked that punt. We won the game. What was that you got hit in the head with? A soda can or water?
Trash can, wasn't it?
Trash can.
That was some vintage trash can stuff after we got that.
Damn.
Hey, y'all let me get off here. I had to jump back on. We wouldn't be hurt.
Hey, I'm gonna see y'all later, man. I gotta go to work, fellas. Good to see everybody.
If we'll push it, coach.
All right, y'all take care, man. Love everybody. Coach Saul, take care, buddy.
Coach Shannon.
Yes.
Coach Shannon, all the coaches, man. I had to jump on here again. It wouldn't be Kane like if we don't push it a little bit. But all the coaches, man, that we had, the staffs we had, and I know all the players will say this, man, I had to say this for the NCAA. All the coaches we had, man, and for kids watching, they were the reason why we were successful as young men and became the men that we are, man. You know, and Joaquin, I still see you rocking the Fu Manchu, man. I had to jump on here. All right, I'm going, man. Y'all be good.
You need a fucking haircut.
I got but before I go, Coach Saul, Coach Swayze, and CJ don't get the credit they deserve. Them the top three coaches at the University of Miami. Coach Shannon, Coach Kehoe, all of them was great coaches. If Coach Saul spoke, everybody listened. If Swayze had total control of the program, all this, that's what you were missing. Get Coach Swayze back in the fold. Coach Swayze was the realest, most loyal coach. Every secret, every player had the discipline and everything went through Coach Swayze. And CJ, I mean, Tanner, Dre, Reggie, that's enough. You don't even have to talk about what else he did. Just them three alone was everything for that program. So Coach Saul, Coach Swayze, I ain't talked to Swayze in a while, and CJ, man, they made the experience at the University of Miami everything it is. I don't care where I'm at, who asked me about it. Coach Saul, the #1 coach, Bobby Turner, #2, then Swayze and CJ. So
thank you, man.
Hey, Clinton, check it out, Clinton. On our coaching staff with Jimmy, our GAs, were Tommy Tuberville and Chuck Pagano. those were our grad assistants that used to do bed checks. We were so deep, and like you guys were with all the coaches. Can you imagine this? Those guys went on to become like NFL head coaches and college football coaches, and they were our GAs.
Man, we had a dice game every Friday night, and Coach Swayze and CJ used to be at it.
You're getting deep.
No, Hegel, I want to hear a great, the priest. We got it.
Father Leo?
Can I leave out Father Leo? Father Leo.
And Father Leo was the best.
I never heard a priest curse.
And he talk about your mother too.
Yeah.
Man. Did you take Father Leo to Tootsie's? Did you take him to Tootsie's?
Hey, man, the first time I met Father Leo, man.
Who took Father Leo to
Father Leo? I didn't. Hey, the first time I met Father Leo, I saw him on campus. He walked past me, and I said, "Dang, there go the priest." So I said, "Let me straighten up a little bit." I walked past him. I said, "Hey, what's up, Father? How you doing?" He said, "I just got off your mother." So I kept walking. I said, "Damn, he ain't say what I thought he said." So I circled back. So I went back by him again. I said, "Hey, Father, how you doing?" "Yeah, your mama was good." So I went and asked one of the guys. I said, "Man, what's up with the priest, man?" He said, "Talk about my mother." He said, "Yeah,
Bro,
he do
y'all
that.
need to cut it out, bro. Cut it out.
He'll do that, dog. He'll do that." Hey, man, I love Father Leo, man. He was real,
Father Leo used to sit in the back of the bus with us. And man, it was on back there with Father Leo back there, man. He talked about your mother, your girlfriend.
Hey, Alonzo, you know who started that stuff about the mother? Don't you remember Fagan sitting there looking over going, "Hey, man, I saw your mom down at Miami X, man. I mean, what's she down there doing with my shoes? Bro, she left them over at my house last night." And you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? That shit would go on in our locker room, and it would be like everybody would get attacked like that. Remember Fagan started doing that shit, and everyone started doing it. Then we started doing it to Art Kehoe. Remember we were doing it, hey, Art, there's no way you blocked anybody with those chicken arms ears, bro. And do me a favor, get that eye black, dog. You're really killing us over here.
Hey, Brian McKinnie, so Big Mac, you know, everybody talk about all the running backs, they talk about all the receivers, the linebackers, but y'all had some hell of a offensive linemen that go to the league and block for some of these guys. I mean, talk about some of the great.
I remember when we had to run 110s, me and Big Vern, we used to talk after Big Vern would throw up before we had to run the 110s. We was talking about Leon Searcy and how we kind of looked up to him. He was like, you know, the big tackle, you know, before we came. So he had just signed like a new deal, like $50 million. And we hated running 110s, but we was like, hey, at the end of this at the end of this 110s, that $50 million. So that like we used that as motivation. And we didn't get a chance to see him a lot because he was playing, but like we just kind of like studied like a lot of his work and the things he did at University of Miami, and you know, kind of tried to aspire to be like him.
Man, that's something else. So now, who got the best?
Hey, look, and I'm gonna add something to that too, man. Like the offensive line was the ones that started it all for us too, man. Because their energy running over there to pick you up, like that whole thing is what started that togetherness, that team. I don't care if it was a negative play. The first thing you're gonna see is somebody off their offensive line pulling dudes off of you, getting you up, pulling you out there, getting you back to the huddle, getting the grass out your eyes and all that stuff. And so when it came from them, then it filtered on down to everybody else.
That usually be like Joaquin, because Joaquin had like energy. I used to try to conserve energy during the game.
So who got the best Sean Teller story? Best Sean Teller story. Best Sean Teller story.
Trying to think.
When Sean Taylor came on his recruiting visit to Miami, he came with a guy, Buck Ortega, and for some reason, Pete Garcia put me and Romberg to take them out. And we were trying to show, now I was born and raised in Miami. We were supposed to take them and show them a good time. Sean Taylor flipped the script and showed me and Romberg a good time. We ended up at some house party. And this motherfucker showed us a good time. We were in some house in the Grove somewhere, somebody's house. These motherfuckers were loaded. We ended up fucking hanging out all day. That's my Sean Taylor story. I tried to take him and show him a good time. That motherfucker flipped the script and showed me a good time.
I got a Sean Taylor story. So at one point in time, we was all on South Beach. I'm in the league. We all knew about Sean T. We know he was next up and coming. And this probably was like his second year in the league or so. And we on the beach. We had at Wet Willie's chilling. And then all of a sudden, we see, you know, it's all the traffic. We see this guy with no shirt on jogging, right? So everybody was like, man, look at this crazy motherfucker jogging. I mean, he is drenched, right? He passes, nobody recognized who it was. All of a sudden, he ended up coming again about another 10 minutes later. So everybody was like, man, that's Sean T, right? That's Sean T. So we like, hey, Sean. So he come over there to us, pouring down sweat, wearing some damn biker shorts, right? Comes over there to us. He's like, man, what in the hell are you doing? Right? We're like, what the hell are you doing? He said, while y'all over here drinking, I'm out here getting better. So there was a difference between Sean T and everybody else. Like, he was always working. He was striving to be the best there was at his position. That's my one Sean T story that I remember, because I wherever he was,
but I'm gonna give you the one Sean T story that's gonna set him apart, right? So me and Santana, we on the plane. Sean just had a good game, you know. We all drinking on the plane. Me and Santana sitting up here. Sean sat like two, 3 seats behind us. So I go back and, you know, taking Sean the hen. So when I get back, Sean used to carry this little book bag, and he had a CD player. The iPods was out. The first iPods and stuff was out. But Sean always had a little CD player he used to carry with the headphones in his ear. So I go back and I'm asking Sean if he good on drink. He like, oh no, I got some. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I turn and walk off. He say, hey, have you listened to this? So I'm like, nah. So he give me the headphones, and the song come on, and I'm looking like, what the hell? So I'm startled. I walk back to the seat. I sit down, kind of like, what's wrong with you? And I'm just sitting here thinking, you know, we listening to Tupac, we listening to Troy, we listen to all this stuff to get us JT money, get us crunk, you know, playing right back. I say, man, go back there and listen to what Sean. I say, go back there and see what Sean listening to. He said, see you on that pop? I said, nah, go check it out. So Santana go back to Sean. Sean give him his earphone. Say, man, you guys got to get this. This CD is awesome. T-Pain, buy me a drink.
Hey, who that? We got who that? The police in the building.
Who that?
What's going on, guys?
Who that?
Don't tell
I just want you to know I haven't lost my mind yet, and the statute of limitations hasn't run on some of your shit that you guys did while you were playing.
Hey, you know too much, Ed. You know too much. Hey, we'll have to kill you, Ed. We know you know too much on us. Don't say anything.
You can't hide behind that microphone all the time, Sileo. I remember.
You know where the bodies are buried.
Dude, this is the most I heard William Joseph say in the entire 4 years that he was. And for the record, the best right cross is Jamaal Green.
Oh.
Hey, who that? Okay, so hey, who that? So one of the questions was, what's the best Hurricane team that was out there? You don't see Hurricane teams come through.
With all due respect to all of you and all the guys that I've been associated with, I got to say the 1983 team, because they started it and they're the ones that made it what it was today, that all of you great players came down there. So with Kelly and Jim Burt and those guys, because there was this guy, Schnellenberger, came in and told us my freshman year, we're going to win a national championship. We all thought the man lost his mind. But sure enough, in '83, we had the magic in Miami, the miracle in Miami, and that started it. And you guys just took it to heights that college football has never seen. So, I mean, I've seen all the great games, but I think that's what got it started. And to those guys, you know, we all sit back and we look at all of you, and we're just so proud. And I've just been honored and blessed to be a part of it behind the scenes. Thank God, behind the scenes.
Hey, Ed, I want to tell you an Uncle Luke story here. So,
wait,
hang on. I get down to Miami, and Jerome, he has to feel me out first. So he feels me out. He goes, "Come on, we're going to go meet someone. By the way, make sure you put your jersey on. We're going someplace. Let me just say, you're Italian. Rich, remember that." And so I go, "Where we going, man?" He goes, "We're going down." So we go down to Liberty City, this soul food place. He goes, "You got your fucking jersey? You better put it on." So Uncle Luke goes like this. He looks me over. Everything's cool. So he goes, "Okay, ask him. Hey, Luke, I need to make some money, man." I mean, he goes, "Dave Hill, Taurus Room. Go tell him I said hi." I'm parking cars for the next 2 years for Dave Hill at the Taurus Room because Luke went just like this. He goes, "Dave Hill, Taurus Room. Go say it. Go tell him you're my boy."
Hey, Luke. Okay, I got one for you, Luke. Remember the strawberries?
Oh, yeah.
So remember the McKinnie contest and Vinny tested?
No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
So we're
Luke, don't answer the question, Luke. Don't answer the question.
All of a sudden, Luke says, "We got the Italian stallion." Like, who's the Italian stallion? And here comes Vinny across the stage.
I plead the fifth. I don't know.
After all these years, Luke, you finally listened to me. You plead the fifth.
Yes, I listened to you. Who that?
Thank you, man. Thank you.
The fifth. No comment. Hey, we have your best friend Donnie Soldinger on here. He has told so many amazing stories. But you got to tell us a Donnie Soldinger story.
Listen, before the WWE was the WWE, there was Soldinger and Kehoe in the offensive coaching room. It's hard to believe that those two love each other the way they do, but they would fight like two women fighting over William Joseph.
Hey, wasn't it Don, Ed, that used to bitch about going on Jimmy's run? Fuck that run, man.
Bro, the best unkept secret in the NCAA was Donnie Soldinger and that damn towel around his neck when he was giving formations between one hand, two hands. I was like, dude, 100 degrees out. What are you doing? Dude, bro, don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. I'm doing it. And I'm like, dude, you think nobody knows what's going on? But it was. And listen, I think it's a testament to all of you. And you know, probably the one biggest thing after my 30+ years of being with these guys, the one true thing, it's a Canes thing you wouldn't understand because all of you here and so many people, and you guys touched on it earlier. It's, you know, and you too, Luke. You guys changed the world, both in college. The good thing that you did, the stigma that was one, it always was us against the world. It really was. I mean, it's the same thing in my job now is, you know, people are going to hate. That's it. But everything that everybody did, I mean, the stuff listen, I laughed a hell of a lot more. And the good thing is now you got these young kids thinking they're pulling one over on the old man. I'm like, dude, you have no idea what came before you.
Hey, who that? Let me ask you a question, man. How were you able to keep so much heat off of Building 36, man? Because I know every time you got a phone call, you was like, God damn.
Bro. Yeah, the statute of limitations hasn't run on all that.
Hey, who that? Remember when I took the walkie-talkie?
Yeah.
You took who that walkie-talkie, Highsmith?
Yeah, he took my walkie-talkie. And the best part was Jerome Brown driving around in that bicycle with the big white walls on it. And the man's got an Uzi. I said, what? He's got an Uzi. Every cop in the place want to run the opposite right. Jerome, give me the Uzi. Give me the Uzi. Okay, man. But I get it back if I get a receipt? Yeah, no problem.
Hey, we're sitting there. My dorm room is right across the street from Jerome. Jerome goes like this. Hey, I got to put these guns someplace. I go, he drops them in the milk carton right there in the front door. The fucking cops come walking up and they look at me and I go, hey, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Jerome goes, hey, man. He goes, are those yours? Jerome goes, I don't know. That was fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, but now listen, for the record, he legally owned those. He just didn't have them on campus.
Here, the cops are looking at us. They look at me and he goes, here, take some of these. I went, are you fucking nuts? The cops are coming up the fucking stairs here. He goes, soon they get up to the stairs and throws them in the milk carton. I'm like, we're dead, dog.
Now y'all can see why I went to mentor UM players, because I heard them stories. Hold on. You can't have no Uzi, Jerome.
You can't have that, Jerome. No, that's not a good look for you right now.
Hey, Alonzo's firing them guns off outside the dorm rooms. You'd be laying in bed, man. All of a sudden, you'd hear this. Bang! You'd be like, God damn.
No matter what story I tell, that rap from Mahoney Hall just did it for everybody. So when that thing came out, I'm like, dude, y'all try to be like Uncle Luke. That ain't going to happen, so just hang up your career.
Hey, Hudak, you said a good thing, man. When you mentioned guys from '83, I think of those guys as well. Dave Hefferman, Jack Fernandez, Tony Fitzpatrick. Oh man, there's so many guys who Kevin Fagan, and it's just amazing, those guys who were part of this program that a lot of people don't know their names because it's been so long. But when you brought that up, it brought back great memories.
Listen, Kevin Fagan came in as a linebacker at 185 pounds and left over 300 pounds. You geneticists out there, you do the math. Whoa. But it was, and it was a credit to everybody, like you said, the coaches, Donnie, all the guys that came before, and what they've made this program what it is. And you know what? Haters are going to hate. I mean, how many colleges can say the NCAA came up with rules just for us?
No. Hey, Ed, how about that? How about you were talking about the Kevin Fagan? How about that locker room? And Reggie Wayne brought it up about the facilities. Alonzo, remember that weight room we had? It was 500 square feet. It had one bench. It had one squat rack. It was outside like a shed. I show up and I look at the place. I went, are you fucking kidding me? We got one bench and a squat rack, and these guys just won a national championship 3 years earlier. Holy shit! I can't believe it. We didn't have Dick, and Lonzo goes, "You didn't come here for that shit. You came here because you wanted to play at U." Anyway,
hey, I'll tell you another thing that fired you up. So you're going to the bowl games, and you know how you go to functions, you meet the other team. The other team, you ask them, hey, how much money y'all got for the bowl game? They say $500. How much you guys get? 100. Yeah. Hey. I say, man, they got us again, man.
Hey,
I got a walk.
I don't know about you guys, but I can tell you this, man. A lot of stuff we used as motivation to when we see other teams with nice shit, nice jerseys, nice locker rooms, and all kind of shit, we would use that shit and say, look at them fuckers over there, man. They got nice locker rooms and we got nothing. Let's go out and just beat their heads in. Let's just beat their heads. Like the bus rides to the stadiums were always great. When you pulled up to that stadium and you saw all them people out there, we said, we're going to put on a show for these fuckers today. They came to see us. They don't even care about, I hope they got girlfriends, their mamas, everybody coming to the game today because we're going to embarrass these fuckers.
Hey, Alonzo would show up to Gator Field and he'd be like, look at their cheerleaders. Look at their stadium. Look at their scoreboard. Look at everything they got. We gonna go in here and beat the fuck out of them. We had a 25-game win streak up there in '86. We're gonna beat them. We're gonna beat them up. They got everything, weight rooms, everything.
And don't let us.
You're right.
And don't let us show up there and one of the old heads will meet us down on the field before the game. Ain't nothing you can do, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like when we played, it was nothing like doing a coin toss to our left, and it's 30 old heads sitting over there in that small little rectangle that they was only allowed to be in.
Yeah.
Like that motivated us. You know what I'm saying? Like when I sit over there and I look over there, I see Lamar Thomas, right? I see Brian Blades. I see Michael Irvin. I see Brett Perry. Like that motivated us. Like, man, we got like that was like God to us. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, like God's here watching. You can't let these dudes down. You know what I mean? So that was the thing. Like looking at the, past guys that helped build that foundation, come watch us play. Man, that was special.
For me, it was Jim Kelly and O.J. Anderson. I'll never forget that. We're playing in the national championship game. I'm a freshman. O.J. Anderson comes over and I'm sitting on the bench. I just had a couple good runs. And he's like, boy, you doing it. And Jim Kelly came over, gave me a high five. That kind of put us in that mode where you wanted to be, where you want to impress those older guys. Yeah. Because my first game I ever seen at the University of Miami was against the University of Florida, 1982. I'd never even heard of the University of Miami until that game. And we were sitting up in the rafters and the team came out and smoked. And I'll never forget this, telling my mother, I said, Mom, I went to a football game today because my parents weren't living in Miami. And she said, what game did you go to? I said, it's Miami versus Florida. And a team came out and through the smoke. I think it was Miami. I said, that's where I'm going to college. She said, why you want to go there? I said, man, it was good. It was 72,000 people in the Orange Bowl. A team came out and smoked, and I said, yeah, that's where I want to be. And that was an easy sell for me to Miami. I was probably
a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand, like, coming out of the smoke at the University of Miami. You know what I mean? Like, so when I grew up, I'm from New Orleans. It wasn't about Miami. I didn't know nothing about Miami. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, the first time I actually saw Miami actually play a game and paid attention to them was when Miami played Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. You know what I mean? Oh. So when I get to Miami, that's all I'm hearing about is that smoke, coming out in the smoke, coming out in the smoke. So when I finally came out in the smoke, I said, man, that shit everybody was talking about, because once you came out of the smoke and your feet touched that grass, you felt like you was He-Man after that. You felt like you was
I got to ask you one question. When you came out through the smoke, where did you want to be? Beginning, end, middle, or last? Where did you come out?
Well, my first time coming out, it's crazy. My first time coming out of the smoke was the second game of my career. That was my first time starting, right? So, I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? I didn't know if I was supposed to be in the front, in the middle, or whatever. So I'm looking at Santana. Santana wearing number 48 at that time. I'm like, so I'm like, damn, like, what do we do? So it was more me watching the older guys come through, guys coming through with towels. You see Sebastian leading everybody. So it was like, damn, like, this shit's special. The next time I came through that smoke, I was in the front. I wanted all that smoke. I wanted every part of that. But that in itself, between that and Phil Collins in the heat of I can feel it in the night, man, it's nothing like it. One of one. Nothing like it.
Hey, I'm like through that smoke, man.
I'm gonna say this though. That 91, 90 team, when we used to have them half jerseys on, bro, that changed the whole game of college football.
Yeah, them kids still trying to wear them half jerseys, man.
Oh, bro, that changed the whole game.
Wow. So
Reggie, man, you're dead on, man. Running through that smoke, man, was like when you went through that smoke and you're coming out and it's an Oklahoma game or a Florida State game or a Florida game, and you're running out there, man, and that fucking place is just lit and shaking. And the Orange Bowl, even with all the like paint chipped and shit, it's just rocking, man. And those people are cheering, man. There ain't nothing like winning a big game at that stadium. And I think since they tore that bitch down, I don't know, man, the program's never been the same since they tore that thing down, man. Because then that place, people think it's bullshit, man. But I don't know, man. I think every time I stepped on that field, it was great to be out there in front of all them fuckers, man. The program just don't look the same playing at Hard Rock.
Edgerrin James at a women's convention?
Hey, he's practicing. That's what you call social distancing.
I'm on my way.
Getting ready to open back up. They just trying out.
I see 2 men and 38 women.
Hey, Alonzo, the smoke was great. It was phenomenal. But the second best thing was when Bennett would come out. Remember how they used to stagger the stretch? All you young guys don't know it. But Bennett had his own little song, Bennett and the Jets. Remember that, Sileo?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, so when the DBs coming out, they start playing this song.
Yeah.
The DBs come out, Bennett be in the front. Oh, you talking about just, hey, that was something to see.
You know what? I hadn't watched a lot of old games until this pandemic thing. I forgot how good Benny Blades was.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Benny Blades was a bad dude. Hey.
Yeah, Benny was a
But,
big.
hey, you know what, though? There's so many players. Rohan Marley.
Yes.
Rohan Marley was one of my favorite players to watch in Miami. Bailey, Robert Bailey.
Yeah.
There's so many guys, Kenard Lang. There's so many guys, Kenny Holmes. There's so many guys. A scout told me about this. An NFL scout has been with me for 23 years in a row. You know, we go to schools and go through schools, we see players on the wall, and we go, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. There's more players in Miami you forgot about.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember when you go through the University of Miami as a scout. You go, oh, man, I remember him. Like, you focus on Edgerrin James and Reggie Wayne and Andre Johnsons and all the great players. But there's hundreds of other players who were hell of a football players.
How about Stanley Shakespeare?
Forget about it. You don't remember their name because, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's
Willie
just
Brown.
amazing.
Willie Brown.
Wow.
He was an All-American.
DJ Richardson.
Charles Henry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fredo.
Wow.
I mean, there's so many guys. Like, people don't even mention Brett Perriman. Brett Perriman's got like 800 receptions in pro football or 700.
Pro Bowler.
Yep.
So many players like that at Miami. People don't talk about O.J. Anderson, Chuck Foreman.
Dennis Hara.
They don't even talk about Ted Hendricks.
Exactly.
I mean,
Jim
Burt. There's so many great players at Miami. It's just amazing what you forget about because of the social media. You hear about all these things and these players, but there's so many other players that weren't Hall of Famers, but were great college football players and good pro football players.
All right, only because Lamar's got a doll in his hand. I'm going to say peace out. Love you guys. Love your families. Luther, I'll see you soon. Take care, guys.
Hey, so check this out. So I done been on here 2 hours and 30 minutes, and we talking about the best teams and all that stuff. And I'm glad Lamar on here. Lamar was one of the guys who I looked up to. Lamar Thomas. Who the best receiver that come through University of Miami?
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Feeling good now. I done got my drink. I done had my cigar. Who the best receiver come through the University of Miami? Lamar Thomas. The people want to know.
Hey, Reggie Wayne, let me ask you a question. Do you remember I tried to get you to come out early?
Yeah, I remember that. Lamar Thomas tried to get me to come out early because he knew I was taking down all those records.
I say, dog, you ready?
I'm waiting on this answer, Lamar.
Oh man,
I miss.
a lot of good ones, dog. A lot of good ones.
I miss.
Who the best receiver, EJ? Who's the best receiver to come out of Miami?
It all depends on the situation. For a running back, I'm taking Reggie. He goes
all around.
Reggie take pride in taking his man to the ground, so I don't even worry about it.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't do that. So I was trying to get that bitch to third and long, so we could throw that bitch.
It's just like you got a problem.
I told the DB, hey, there's a run coming this way. You can make the tackle too.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Hey, listen, y'all talking about the best position. The best punch I ever seen thrown in my life, out of any boxing match, out of any UFC, anything. I'm sitting in, what was the little club at?
Bennett.
No, right behind not Dayland Mall, but right across the street from the school.
609?
No, it was like O'Malley.
Pat O'Brien's.
Pat O'Brien.
What club was across the
Bro, I'm sitting in Pat O'Brien. We having a drink. Everybody feeling good. We just won. Big Mac and Vernon decided to throw a party. Me and Ed Reed done rode all the way down south, get a bottle of Seagram 7. We rode 2 hours to get a bottle of Seagram 7, sit in Popeye's parking lot and eat a 12-piece. Get in the car, I don't even know what we was talking about. We go out, we went to the fashion show, the whole team go to the fashion show. We go to Pat O'Brien's. I'm talking about Pat O'Brien's is loose. We having a good time. Jamaal Green, being a good citizen, attempts to take someone's keys that was about to be drinking and driving. Jamaal said, no, you can't drive this car. The dude snatched his keys back and pushed Jamaal. This punch was better than Mike Tyson. It was better than I've ever seen thrown. Jamaal hit this dude. I don't know if you got in trouble or anything. I know I stopped hanging with you. I said, boy, if he ever hit me like that, I'm popping him. Jamaal the best punch I ever seen in my life.
No, hey, what happened with that night, that situation, it was a weird situation. I was remember the African girl Queenie.
I was sitting right beside you, man.
No, but remember the African girl Queenie? It was her. It was
you and told you she didn't want to ride with Bill.
No, what got it was with a boy. I don't know what she said to him. She was speaking in Swahili, so I didn't know what the heck what she was saying to him. But after a while, the boy got the courage, and he kind of like spilled his drink in my lap. That's what got it.
Left your hand when you tried to push him back.
Yeah, and he tried to speak, kind of spilled the drink in my lap, and start talking crazy. So where I'm from, we don't play that. That ain't how I get down. But you know what's crazy? And when they were talking about the 2000 loss against Washington earlier, I felt bad for that game for a while because that's the game I was suspended for. I couldn't play that game, and we were short on defensive ends. And now when I look back on it, I'm like, man, if I'd have played that game, we might have had a little more depth and be able to hold it down a little bit on defense. This is before Jerome McDougal and Andrew Williams and them got there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, that's that one game. And since I've been back, we didn't lose a game in the regular season since then. So I'm like, man, if I'd have played that game, man, we probably been all right.
Boy, you could be a security guard for Obama with that kind of punch.
Who's the best D lineman? Who's the best D lineman?
Ooh. Well, I'm going with Jerome Bryant.
I want to see this.
Hey, I gotta respect my elders. All honesty, I'll say it's out of Gore. I say it's 3. I gotta respect Stubbs first, because Stubbs got the sack record for 19 in the season. But the top 3 D linemen, I say Fat Boy, Cortez, and Jerome.
That's tough. All right.
I like that.
Okay.
I don't think
Hey,
nobody gonna argue with that. Ain't nobody gonna argue with that one.
go ahead, Jamaal. Let me hear what you think, Jamaal. Let me hear what you think.
No,
Best D lineman.
I agree with him. I mean, them boys on a different level, man. I ain't nowhere near on their level. I agree with him.
I tell you this, between Jerome and Warren, I saw Warren in that 95 Orange Bowl beat the fucking shit out of Nebraska. And when I watched him move the way he moved, and then that dude had Alonzo, Sapp had 16.5 sacks from the DT spot. And I don't know what you pay him today in the NFL. And Jerome was kind of like Fletcher Cox, the kid who plays in Philly, where he wasn't quite the piece, not quite the pass rusher that Sapp is, but Jerome plays a better 2-gap and 3-gap and would run around blocks and kind of fuck with linemen. It's between those two guys, in my opinion, because I think those two guys, man, Sapp's a better pass rusher, but Jerome may be the most complete guy, but it's close.
Now they want to talk about the whole defensive line. I heard y'all talking about the 95 team earlier. Honestly, I know we heard a little bit of offense. Offense, I think we competed with them other teams like 2000, 2001. Our defense was number 1 in scoring points, third down, and total. I still remember them 3 plaques on the wall.
That 95 D was good, dude. Like I said, I was talking to Sapp the other day about it. I'm like, if you guys didn't have, no shit on Frank Costa, but I mean, dude, that dude's a dude. I mean,
but 89 now. Come on now.
I know, but
89 team.
Let's talk about the D line. Kenny Holmes.
I'm talking about the defensive line for 89.
Kenny Holmes, first round. Fat Boy, first round. Rollo was the first pick in the second round. Then I went first.
Okay, so look what you had in 89.
Wow.
Greg Mark.
Hey, Reggie.
Dane Curry. Russell Maryland.
Those guys
Jimmy Jones and Willis McGahee. All 6 of them got drafted before the 4th round.
Really, every one of those guys were our backups.
Damn, so Cortez can't get in the conversation.
Wait, watch this.
Cortez was in 90. Cortez in 89.
We had Hawkins in 86. We had Hawkins in 86. Jerome, myself, and we had Stubby K. Behind us, we had Russell Maryland, Kennedy, Jimmy Jones, Pegues, Greg Mark.
Yep.
All them dudes were our backups.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though, but that was some of the decision why I did come to Miami. Because I was sitting there looking at the depth chart. When I saw Pegues went 2nd round to the Colts.
Yeah.
He was a backup.
Exactly.
And I thought myself, damn, if a backup goes 2nd round, what the fuck gonna happen? You know what I'm saying?
I'll do running backs for you guys.
Huh?
Okay.
I'll do running backs for you guys.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Okay, who the top 3? Who the top 3 running backs?
I'm gonna go Edgerrin.
Hold on. We gotta have some categories in this now.
No, just me watching.
What y'all say? Who the highest paid running back at UM? Y'all say who the highest paid?
No. We definitely.
Hey, what y'all say? Hey, what y'all talking about?
We gotta say the big backs and the scat backs. You can't just say running back.
Going Edgerrin, OJ Anderson, and Portis.
Coach Saul, I want to hear what you say.
Hey, it's a one-tuck foreman.
Foreman comes on my next day.
No Frank?
Man, we gotta give it a Frank, man. We gotta give it a Frank. Frank represents them boys, man. 2 ACLs. Frank got those third lead rushers. We gonna give it a Frank, man. Give it a Frank.
Was never healthy. You put
Coach Saul, who is your list?
Huh?
Who is your list?
Give it a Frank.
I'll go down the list. EJ, best athlete overall. Hands, blocking, running. Overall. McGahee had the best season, obviously, but McGahee was the hardest to coach by far. Was strong, fast, tough, had a great season, ran behind a great offensive line. That also helped. You had the most confidence in anybody I coached ever. This guy, hey, bro, put my ass in. What's wrong with you, man? We would have won the Washington game if I put you in earlier, right?
You know it.
Confidence by far, and you were the most fun to coach, believe me.
I'm a dog. I've been slanging D for free, and I've been OG me since 2-3. Got his first ring. I'm honey dipping all up in your dog. Cute face, thick thighs, save lives, spit lines. Yeah. See, I don't really got a type. She texts me hi, stranger. But I like 'em thick and bright.